Hey there, space enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of NASA's Viking missions to Mars, which marked a significant milestone 50 years ago. But before we get into the details, let me share a quick personal reflection. When I first heard about the Viking missions, I was immediately drawn to the idea of a spacecraft landing on another planet. It's like something out of a sci-fi novel, right? But what really got me thinking was the fact that this mission was so challenging and high risk. It's not every day that we get to explore the mysteries of Mars, and the Viking team had to overcome so many obstacles to make it happen. Now, let's take a step back and explore the story of Viking. The Viking 1 spacecraft landed on Mars in 1976, and it was the first fully successful Mars landing in history. The mission was a huge deal, and it carried a suite of instruments to study the planet, including those seeking evidence of life. The results of the mission are still being debated to this day, which only adds to the intrigue. Now, let's talk about the team behind the mission. Tom Young, the mission director for Viking, recalled that the challenges and risks greatly exceeded normal NASA projects. But the justification to proceed with Viking was based on the importance of the mission and the capabilities of the Viking team. And that team included a young Dave Thompson, who would go on to become a prominent figure in the space industry. Thompson said he feels like the Forrest Gump of space, stumbling into a variety of things. But his experience on the Viking mission was a turning point in his career. Now, let's shift our focus to the current state of Mars exploration. The Viking missions are hailed as a crowning achievement of NASA's initial Mars exploration program, but there's a catch. Viking was the last NASA Mars mission for a generation. The next lander, Mars Pathfinder, didn't touch down until 1997, almost exactly 21 years after Viking 1. And some in the Mars science community worry that NASA is in danger of another gap in red planet exploration. The cancellation of Mars Sample Return, MSR, has put the future of Mars exploration into question as NASA increasingly focuses on the Moon. The Perseverance rover continues to collect samples despite uncertainty about when, or even if, they will be returned. Now, let's talk about NASA's current Mars missions. NASA is involved with as many as 4 missions going to Mars in 2028, but none is a conventional NASA-led science mission. The Rosalind Franklin rover is an ESA mission with modest NASA participation, including the launch. Mars Telecommunications Network is a communications spacecraft with only a small science payload, while State Route 1 Freedom is primarily a nuclear propulsion demonstration with Skyfall, a set of small Mars helicopters. In June, NASA announced it would provide a science payload for an unnamed Mars mission being developed by Relativity Space. But plans beyond 2028 are unclear. NASA has discussed commercial partnerships for future Mars missions, but has not made any awards. The high cost of State Route 1 Freedom, now estimated to be more than $2 billion, could take funds that had been planned for other Mars missions. Now, let's talk about the implications of all this. Viking was one of NASA's most expensive science missions, with a cost in present-day dollars of $8.6 billion. That puts it in range of MSR, which had cost estimates of $8 billion to $11 billion before NASA attempted to restructure the program. MSR, like Viking, was challenging, high-risk, and expensive, but NASA lacked the confidence in MSR or disagreed in its importance to continue it. The success of Viking came at the expense of a 2-decade gap in missions that followed. Perhaps the demise of MSR will give scientists an opportunity to revise the program to avoid another long gap. So, what does all this mean for the future of Mars exploration? Well, in my opinion, it's clear that NASA needs to find a way to balance its focus on the Moon with its ambitions for Mars. The high cost of some missions, like State Route 1 Freedom, could be a barrier to progress. But I also believe that there's a lot of amazing science that can be done with smaller missions, like those planned under the CLPS program. It's just a matter of finding the right balance and making the most of the resources we have. In conclusion, the Viking missions were a remarkable achievement, but they also highlight the challenges of exploring another planet. As we look to the future, it's important to learn from the past and find a way to keep the momentum going. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the future of Mars exploration? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more space-related content.